Hi everyone, it's Annie, and today I'm here for my first TBR of 2021, even though I'm uploading this and it's still 2020, but it's my January 2021 TBR, and I'm very excited for it. I hope the lighting is okay because it's kind of a dark, rainy, dreary day. It is Christmas Eve, so that's exciting. And I have 3 parts to this video, so I'll put chapters in. The first part is going to be series that I'm continuing this January. The second part will be new books or a series I'm starting in January. And the third part will be new releases that are coming out in January that I'm hoping to read. So let's get started. So the first book I'm going to talk about is Artificial Condition, the second book of the Murderbot series by Martha Wells. And I really enjoyed the first book. They're really short, so I quite enjoy reading short books because they're easy and they make me feel like I accomplished something when I finish them. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to continuing this series, and I think this is going to be a series that I might actually finish through the end, which is rare. So yeah, I'm really excited about it. I know nothing about the plot. I'm just looking forward to seeing Murderbot and what adventures they have this time. The second book is the second book of the Winter Night trilogy by Catherine Arden. I read The Bear and the Nightingale, and to be honest, I didn't enjoy it as much as I thought I would, or as much as I wanted to. The main problem I had with it was that it was very slow-paced for me, and also I had a hard time getting through all the instances of her getting, hit for no good reason. And I know that that's kind of it's not the point of the book, but it's a plot element that serves the plot of the book as a whole, but it was just hard for me to read. So with those two things, it was kind of harder for me to enjoy than I wanted it to be, but I gave it 3 stars, and it was still super interesting. I loved the folklore, magical elements to it, so I definitely want to continue the series and hopefully finish it. So I'm going to read the second one this January. Alright, for books that I am starting that aren't part of a series, the first one is Raphael, Painter in Rome by Stephanie Story. Now, I recently finished Oil and Marble by Stephanie Story, and I really loved it. So I am really interested in seeing how she does justice to Raphael's story. And I really know nothing about Raphael. In Oil and Marble, which is about Michelangelo and Leonardo da Vinci, I at least knew a little bit about them as people, but I really know nothing about Raphael, so I'm very excited to learn about him. The next book is The Only Good Indians. Yes, my hold at the library finally came in for this. I am so excited to read it. I'm finally getting to it, and even though it's not spooky season anymore, it's still, as I said, it's a dark and dreary day. It's the winter. I'm sure there's going to be more dark and dreary days coming up in January. So yeah, I'm really excited for this horror story. The next book is The Once and Future Witches, which I have also had on hold at the library for a very long time, and it finally came in. So I'm going to read it this January. I have been so hyped for this book. I really don't know the intricacies of the plot too well, which is good because I don't want to be spoiled or anything, but it takes place in the 1920s, and it has to do with witches, obviously, and the suffrage movement, women's suffrage. So it sounds great. If you watched my review of The Lost Apothecary, you know that those are 2 things I love. Witches and feminism combined is a recipe for a book that I'm gonna love. So I really hope I like this as much as I want to, and we'll see what I think of it this January. The next book is Burial Rites by Hannah Kent. I have had this book on my TBR since 2013. Yeah, I am finally getting to it. Yay! I was reminded of this book by Books with Bridget and her winter video recommendation. I'll link that down below. And I'm very excited to finally get to this book. This book takes place in Iceland, so it's going to be perfect to read during the cold month of January. And I've heard that it's very, very dark and very sad. I don't know exactly. I don't remember the plot exactly. You can tell how much I prepared for this video. It's about this woman who I think she is accused of a crime she didn't commit or something like that. There's something like that involved, or some murder involved or something. So anyway, it sounds really, really interesting, and I'm glad I'm finally getting to it. And thanks again for Books with Bridget for your winter recommendations video. The next book is The Children of Red Peak, and I'm very excited to read this. I actually read the first chapter this month in December, but then things happened and I got caught up in a lot of other different books and I never finished it, so I decided, I'll just put it down, return it to the library, pick it back up in January, and actually read it properly. So that's what I'm gonna do. But the first chapter was really, really good, very interesting stuff. It follows, from what I know, it follows the grown-up children who came from this cult, this religious cult, who all committed a mass suicide in the past. And it follows them as they grew up and how being in this cult with their families kind of affected them and how it continues to affect them through their adult life. Oh my god. Like, first of all, this cover is very wintry. Seems like it's going to be perfect to read during January. And I am super, super interested in cults. Maybe that sounds weird. Learning about cults. I will always watch documentaries about Jonestown, especially, oh my god, it sounds really morbid, I'm sorry, but I'm really interested in those things. So I was very excited when this book came out. It came out this past November, so it's a very recent release. And yeah, I'm looking forward to reading it. Alright, now I have 2 nonfiction books that I plan to read this January. The first one is Dead Mountain. I am very excited for this. I had meant to read it earlier for Nonfiction November, but I never got to it. It is the true story of the Dyatlov, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, Dyatlov Pass incident in Russia. So if you don't know about this incident, it is when a group of experienced hikers went to the Dyatlov Pass, and obviously it's in Russia, it's extremely cold, it was very snowy, and they were lost. They never came back, and people tried to find them for a while, and when they were finally found, they were found with all their clothes off and strange mutilation wounds. Their eyes and parts of their faces. I'm sorry. This might be like triggering for some people, I'm sorry. But their hands were off. They had no hands. And there was no evidence of anything attacking them. So it's a mystery of what happened to these people. And there's a lot of theories about how they had hypothermia and they went out of their minds, and I don't know, there's a whole bunch of theories. Again, this is kind of right up my alley. I love things like this. I love mysteries, and especially like morbid ones like this. So yeah, I am very excited to learn more about this. And the next nonfiction book is Silences So Deep. I found this book quite recently. I'm actually planning on reading it for the 12 Days of Bookmas Readathon. I'll link the information to that down below. And it is about a man who lives in rural Alaska and composes music. That's all I know about it, but I picked it for the prompt, a book that deals with music. And it just sounds really interesting, and I love Alaska. It's actually my dream one day to move there. So any book about Alaska I'm automatically interested in, and I really hope this book turns out to be good. Alright, now let's get into books that will be released this January. The first one is Remote Control by Nnedi Okorafor. I have talked about this book in a lot of my videos. So yeah, I'm very excited for this. I will read anything she writes. She's a genius. And I talked about this in my most anticipated 2021 releases video if you want to hear more about it. But it's like a sci-fi fantasy book about this girl, Fatima, who has a touch that kills people. And she kind of goes on this quest to figure out where these powers came from. So again, Nnedi Okorafor can do no wrong, and I'm very excited to read it. The next book is Lore, which I found very recently through all the Booktube videos coming out about 2021 releases. It's about the Greek gods, which is something I'm very interested in. And I think it's about them being kind of stranded on Earth because they're being punished for their misdeeds, and adventures ensue, or something along those lines. The cover is amazing. I love this Medusa head business. And I'm just looking forward to reading this. It sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. The next book is Last Night at the Telegraph Club by Malinda Lo. Again, I talked about this in my most anticipated 2021 releases. It's about this woman who is a lesbian during the Red Scare in the 1950s in San Francisco's Chinatown. So it's historical fiction, queer historical fiction, the Asian American representation. It sounds really, really great. I am very excited for this book, and I know a lot of other people are too, so I hope it's good. And the last book I'm going to talk about today is The Forever Sea by Joshua Philip Johnson. First of all, this cover is one of the most beautiful covers I've ever seen. It is gorgeous. It is described as an epic environmental fantasy series. So, okay, yes, it's about these ships that sail on an endless sea of grass, and they're powered by magical hearth fires. Yes, please. It sounds absolutely magical and super adventurous, and I am so excited to read this. I really hope it's a magical experience. Alright guys, and that is it for my January TBR. I really hope that I get to all these books, and I hope that the new releases come into my library quick enough that I can read them. What's on your January TBR? Comment down below and let me know. I'm really curious to find out. And if you liked this video, please like it and subscribe to my channel for more bookish videos. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.